I have a request for Jaffe.
Yeah.
It's Travis's birthday today. Can we all say happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Travis.
Happy birthday, Travis.
I'll have to text him.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Travis.
The episode comes out on Monday, so it's not going to be his birthday
late.
anymore. Yeah.
It's not. He doesn't care. Right. He won't even care about this.
We can sing the song. It's public domain.
Please no. I don't want to do that.
All right.
We would both hate that.
Congratulations on 15 years of the No More Heroes franchise.
Yeah. Oh, that Travis. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Behold the power of safety. This is episode 396. Let me check. I don't know. What episode number is this? It's in the 390s of Insert Credit. The world's greatest video game podcast in the Horrible Buzzer subcategory. I'm Alex Jaffe, electric steel type.
I'm Ash Parrish, fairy dark type.
Good one. You know? Yeah, no follow-up questions. Joining us this week, formerly of Polygon, currently at large, Nicole Carpenter is on the show.
Hello. I'm electric type.
I respect it. Welcome to the family. And we also have today former video game columnist for the Toledo Blade, Will Harrison, is on the show.
I'm Will Harrison, and I'm always a normal type. I'm sorry.
What would you say is the most normal about you, Will?
Oh, the fact that I have no special powers. Like, if Snore and Body Slam is it, then I'm great, but nothing else to offer past that.
Is normal an insult? I feel like when you see a normal type Pokemon, it feels like they might as well be calling it the boring type.
You know, it's kind of a bummer.
Well, yeah, don't bother with this one.
Well, hang on
now. It totally
now.
feels like to me they're just normal animals. Like, is that thing an animal in real life? That's a normal Pokemon then. Is that a sheep? No, who knows?
A regular animal type Pokemon.
Isn't Eevee a normal type though?
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah.
It's just a dog.
Yeah.
Eevee's just a dog.
Is it a dog though? I wouldn't classify Eevee as a dog.
It's a
Would
fox.
He's too feline.
Yeah. Would it be better to call them basic type, or is that worse?
I like basic type.
I love basics.
Less, negative connotation than normal.
I don't know. I mean, if someone calls you normal, that's not necessarily an insult. If someone calls you basic, that is an insult.
I would consider being called normal an insult.
Something to think about. That's language.
If I was called normal, if I was called normal, I would be confused though. Like I'd be like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What is normal?
What do you mean I'm normal?
Yeah.
I would probably just turn and respond. Like if somebody shouted to you like, hey, you normal guy, I'd be like, yes.
Please tell my parents.
Finally, something to be proud of.
External validation. Okay. The way this works is I'm going to throw a question at you guys, and you're going to do your best to answer it within 6 minutes or face the ultimate consequences. Everybody here has been in the video game journalism sphere, at least at some point, and I want to ask, how fucked is all of that right now?
Incredibly. Next question.
It's so bad. We don't even need 6 minutes. So bad.
One and one. It's done.
It's quite terrible. But it seems like, at least definitely for you, Nicole, you've found a new outlet for all of your musings.
Yeah, it's been really weird to be freelance again. But the shining light in all of this is independent media. Most of the work that I've published has been with independent worker-owned outlets. And while media is fucked, absolutely, there's no doubt about it, worker-owned media is succeeding. And they're able to publish some of the most interesting work, I think, across the board.
Yeah, I saw Aftermath, which is a bunch of former Kotaku folks. They actually did the New York Times one better and actually endorsed a candidate for the New York City mayoral primary. And that candidate won, unlike the New York Times endorsement, which had 0.8% of the vote or whatever. So independent media is good for some place if you want some principled journalism. That's for sure.
That puts so much pressure, though, on them if they decide to do a second candidate after this, because now you're 1 for 1. If you get it wrong the second time, you're going to Nate Silver yourself.
You can't do it again.
Yeah, it's best to retire after your first call, I guess. But I feel like when I was growing up reading about video games in magazines and on websites in the early internet, it felt like writing about video games was something that a person could just do if they pursued it. And where has this entire field gone?
Google search engine optimization.
I can relate to that. Having recently spent a spend in the SEO mill farms and trying to find your place and write content and that really still speaks to you while fulfilling those obligations. At the end of the day, a lot of it becomes about that fulfillment and finding something that you're proud of.
Yeah, I have a friend for an undisclosed website who writes articles that are demanded to him by whatever SEO seems to be driving traffic. And he was just texting me this morning that today what he had to do was write a viewing order for King of the Hill, a television show.
Is there some kind of like edit of King of the Hill chop order that we don't know about?
There isn't.
I would be very curious.
There isn't. But there's a King of the Hill revival coming. So whenever a new thing, property is revived or something, so people need a playing order or a viewing order or a reading order. And people just assume there is some kind of convoluted backstory to whatever it is, even if it was just a regular sitcom. So like whenever one of these has to happen, his job is to just like, okay, you start with episode 1 and then you go to episode 2 and he gets $200 for that.
Yep.
This is
like the best anime. You have to know what filler arcs to avoid in King of the Hill.
Right, exactly.
You don't because once Sasuke shows up, like you're in. But after that,
yeah, we can skip the Patch Boomhauer arc. Nobody likes that one.
You say that, but my friend has created a watch order for the Star Wars Clone Wars that does indeed cut out a lot of like the chaff. I guess I would say.
Clone Wars is
making a face.
Clone Wars is a whole other thing.
That whole thing.
I could talk about Clone Wars for a long time. It's a show where they purposely ran a lot of the episodes out of order, kind of like to simulate the we're going to do the middle trilogy first kind of thing. So a viewing order article kind of makes sense, but this is like, why would you make a viewing order for The Simpsons?
Well, I guess
because I guarantee you somebody will look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much of that. King of the Hill, not so much, but The Simpsons, at least now, there's like, 50 seasons of that shit?
But
I don't want to watch all of them.
But there's not like lore you're missing.
Yeah, you can watch them in any order, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Could.
They don't age.
You could also just save yourself some time.
I will never. No, The Simpsons, that's not my ministry, unfortunately.
What are the story marks of the Maude dies at one point? Lisa becomes a vegetarian. There's not like a character it's just, what is journalism for, I suppose, if not to serve the needs of people who are like asking questions, no matter how stupid they are.
Increasing shareholder value, obviously.
Yeah, I guess.
Or collectively, what is the needs of the people when you can just find whatever you need from a box that will tell you the wrong answer?
Right.
Really. It's answers for questions that aren't asked.
I want to ask you another related question. How do you recommend a game to someone in a way that will get them to play it?
You don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure I do that.
Yeah. At least for me, I speak a certain way. There's a certain way that I just talk about video games or whatever, and people come to me because they like that. And I make it very clear, the kinds of things that I like, what my values are, et cetera, et cetera. So when I talk about a game, people who are like, oh, I like Ash because I like her values align with mine or her tastes align with mine, that's what that's for. But if my tastes don't align with yours, if you don't like dating sims, for example, like you're not really going to jive with anything that I talk about when I talk about dating sims. So my job is not to convince you. I would like you to play the games that I talk about, but my job is to talk about how they made me feel, not about what I think they'll make you feel. And so part of that, I guess, means you have to be someone for a specific person. They want to know what you think. So my weird answer for this question.
Yeah, and I think that this goes into the last question of like what has happened to media too. It's like, well, if you're writing a review with that SEO driven, like I want someone to find this who's wondering if they should buy this thing. So many like that's all over SEO, and it's not really even driving traffic there. It's just there. It's like Google is showing it, but it's like not really driving that much traffic. What people, I think, this is exactly what Ash was saying. It's like, I think the way forward is in people cultivating community around like getting recommendations or whatever from a person whose voice they trust. And like that is the future of this industry. It's like not even looking, and it doesn't even have to be like someone looking for like their next game to play. It's like they just want to read something interesting about like a game that they're even mildly open to trying, you know.
Or not open to trying at all.
Yeah, or not open to trying at all. Exactly. Yeah. And that's how I approach it, is like I don't necessarily think about convincing someone to play something. It's really all about, you know, my feelings, my thoughts playing it, like, or I don't know, if it brings up some other weird semi-related topic as well. It's like not a buyer's guide in any way.
Oh yeah. I think there's a power in shared experiences, both the ones that will happen and the ones that haven't happened yet that you're trying to convince people to have. Long ago, when I was still writing in print media, and I had a column for a large newspaper in Ohio, and part of my gaming column was trying to find a middle ground of not being advice and realizing that, hey, I've got 900 words to convince somebody of the experience I had with this game. Like, what is the takeaway? What is the experience that shaped me through it? And often that didn't come out as straight advice of, yes, this is why I would play this, or this is why you should definitely get in this, or avoid it at all costs. Instead, I think there's more power in trying to convey to people what exactly it is that spoke to you about something and offering that as potential to them. Like, hey, you too could potentially have that experience. Your mileage may vary.
I like that answer, Will. I'll think about that going forward.
Yeah, I love that.
You should. I'm definitely right.
Obviously.
Okay. Well, it's Pride Month, folks. I'd like to ask you, how does queerness and queer narratives manifest uniquely in games in contrast to other media?
Great question.
Good question.
I think I can speak a little bit to that, and not as just a straight up plug for my World of Warcraft podcast, I swear to God. But for me, as somebody who came out as bisexual in the last couple of years and struggled with it my entire life, I grew up in Southeast Ohio, Appalachia, where that kind of thing was often made part of the identity that I hid. And what I found through gaming was an ability to try on versions of myself and to see how they fit. And World of Warcraft was huge for that for me. I was just thinking about this because last year I was going to do an episode on Pride as I was analyzing my own experiences and my own thoughts about, would a transition ever be something I would consider? Why did other people consider it? And I remember when I thought about the first character I created, I made a Tauren, which is the cow race in WoW, and I ran around during the trial. I was like, yeah, this is fine, but maybe this doesn't speak to me. And I found myself switching to a Draenei, the female space goats of WoW, and it made sense. It clicked and it fit. And something felt right about it. And that's when I started thinking about what living in the shoes of an experience through gaming can really be. And it was a real eye-opening journey that I feel like continues to shape me.
Look, right answer again.
Yeah, why are we here?
I know.
You and Alex.
I mean, you guys have to try harder, because what I did not mention at the top of this show is that there is a credit system involved in this program.
There is a winner.
Yeah, the winner of each episode gets something. So
it's Kat. Here we go.
So I'm gonna need to hear some more cogent answers about queerness in video games and how they manifest through that medium.
Yeah, well, I mean, I totally agree. It's all about the perspective that it gives you. I'm trying to think of another medium, because I don't want to write it off that like it is, the other mediums in that role. But I'm trying to think of something else that has that perspective shift where you can shift into something else with the character choice, the role you're putting on. And I think that's also specific to certain genres of game as well, but what other medium can you do something like that where you can try on all these different roles? It's like a place like World of Warcraft is like a perfect example for that. And I can't think of anything.
Fan fiction.
Yeah, not in fiction.
That'd do it too. But that's more of you have to do the work on that one yourself.
Yeah.
A video game is more like, oh, okay, it's there for me and I can try it, versus fan fiction is like, this is at least what I think I want, so I have to do it myself. And that has a less degree of safety, I think, than playing something like World of Warcraft. So you're still winning, but nice try.
I think there's a difference between consumptive media and creative media. And video games kind of exist on the border of that, where it is a final product which is designed for another person to experience, as opposed to something where you create it yourself to manifest it. Like fashion is something similar to. I think that's closer to what you do with fan fiction, in that you're creating the way that you want to manifest this thing yourself, whereas you're being given a specific set of tools by a video game.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say the visual nature of video game allowing to see yourself. Like I'm thinking about like The Sims, like creating the idealized version of myself in The Sims as it relates to queerness. Like having that visual too is really powerful. I think for me at least, and being able to like see to see that there is something unique to video games as well. I mean, we could apply this to fan art and stuff like that as well too. But that's my thoughts.
But where video games is interesting is that it's channeled still through the lens of that initial creator. And as much as we want to shy away from the idea that games now aren't a singular vision from somebody, it's not always the public perception that that's the case. And still, we channel our own experience of that game through the lens of another person, which I still think is a fascinating aspect to it.
Fantastic. All right, Will?
Stop being so good, Will. Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of time to think, and I watched baseball earlier.
Well, Will, this next one is all you. Because
finally, a Murloc question.
Because I have been thinking a little bit about World of Warcraft. And
I'm sorry.
I would like to know what the hell is going on in just all of the story of that game, but I only have 6 minutes. Can you tell me everything that happens in World of Warcraft in that time?
So it's funny you mentioned that, because I've been working on an episode about everyone's favorite green waifu Thrall recently, and often I bounce my ideas for my scripts off of my wife. And as we were laying in bed talking one night, she's like, all right, tell me about Thrall. And I start talking and, of course, begin with the originations of the planet Azeroth and the great titans of the deep space that are floating through and trying to raise the world souls. And I talked for about 12 minutes before I actually said Thrall's name, and I realized she fell asleep. So in one side, I think I accomplished the mission, but on the other, it made me realize that maybe trying to sum up something as nebulous and fragile as a game with 30 years of lore that a majority of its audience can't agree on
3 minutes
becomes
left.
a really hard thing. Oh yeah, she's timing me. She wants to win.
Yeah.
And I think what I would say to that with WoW is that the story as it goes is the story where you pick it up. Because I've seen some games writers recently who have jumped into WoW very, very recently as War Within, the most recent expansion. And one, I would ask why. Do you want to be hurt? But two, it's fascinating because their experience of jumping in and where they begin in WoW is not where I began back in 2004, which is not where other people began in Warcraft 2. So you have this big, expansive universe that has changed in context over and again and will never be the same. Like, it's iterated upon, but it's different. And that's the short answer to saying who Thrall is.
Mm-hmm. I know she's green, and that only came up in the intro of this. I don't know anything else about her.
Well, Jaffe, this will have, like, isn't Thrall like a Moses allegory, Will? Don't they, like, put him in a basket?
Oh, totally. Yes, he gets shuffled through the dark portal because his family did not drink the cursed blood of the Burning Legion that infected all the other orcs and turned them red. So our green Jesus gets sent out into the world of humans, becomes a slave, becomes a gladiator, becomes a leader, and then gets sleepy and takes a nap for a couple of expansions. But now he's back.
Whoa.
He's back.
I'm just now learning there are red orcs and green orcs in World of Warcraft.
And they taste very different.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably actually
What?
lore. Is that lore, Will?
Yeah,
Is that real? Please
that
tell us.
sounds like something you didn't make up.
Happy Pride.
Yeah. Very nice. What is the story with the cow people? Tell me about the cow people.
They're big cows. They're derived, the Tauren are derived from another species of cow that was created by the Titans, who made all the life on Azeroth with giant machines.
So there's a cow race, and there's a goat race, and there's just orcs.
And then there's a Jamaica race.
The troll race is there, yes, and they're derived from squirrels. That's true.
No,
that's actually
so
true.
are all of the non-human races apart from human and orc just like some kind of like furry Gajinka situation?
Short answer, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It kind of happened that way.
Dwarves are just Gajinka statues, right?
No, yeah, literally. They're statues that were cursed with flesh and then brought to life, and now they're always...
I can relate to that.
I suffer with the curse of flesh all the time, especially through COVID.
Yeah. Nicole, what do you know about World of Warcraft?
Absolutely nothing. However,
Good answer.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. I have played it though.
Yeah.
I will say that. I did go to the Cataclysm launch event at GameStop at midnight.
Nice.
For no reason other than I guess let's see what this is about.
Oh, to people watch, see the freaks.
Yeah. And I got the game. I played it a little bit, but I couldn't really tell you anything about it, even what I just learned here.
Yeah.
Except about the green and red flavor difference.
I famously played World of Warcraft for 2 weeks for 1 hour a day. Finally got out of the dwarf starting area, saw just like an overhead view of how big the world was, and just went, nope, and closed my laptop forever.
Bye. Yeah.
Wow. You just described my wife's experience, because for my birthday last year, I begged her, it's like, all right, you're finally going to play WoW with me. We're going to do it. I bought her the most recent expansion. I bought her a character. She sat down for an hour, got confused by the minimap, and never logged in again. I was like, damn it, it's so close.
You bought her a character? Explain that.
Oh, no. I bought the expansions, and because you can start a trial, I think up to level 20 at this point. But I foolishly believed that she was going to go all the way. And like, yeah, she'll play past level 20.
Oh, boy.
Like, we play Overwatch every day. This is me assuming that we have similar interests. And then she went on to put on 1,200 hours in Inscription.
Hey, that's a good game.
Yeah.
Do they do like Blizzard, Overwatch cross branding in World of Warcraft?
Oh, yeah. I wish they would do more. They've only done one round of WoW Overwatch skins, and it was recently. And I gave them my money instantly, because of course I did.
Was that WoW in Overwatch or Overwatch in WoW?
They've done both. There is a Winston, a baby Winston from Overwatch pet for WoW.
Okay.
And they did a set of skins for Overwatch where they made Reinhardt into the Lich King, Zenyatta into Thrall. They gave them a bunch of like cute sprays. Good synergy that you'd expect a company like Blizzard that owns every property on the face of the earth to do more of, but they don't.
I saw a reality show once where like some American chopper knockoff was making a motorcycle for World of Warcraft. Just one of the most baffling video game tie-in things I've ever seen.
And you can still get that mount in the game, but it's a pain in the butt.
Oh, you have to work for it?
It's World of Warcraft. You got to work for everything.
No, you don't. You just pay for everything now.
What do I look like, a gold farmer?
Yeah, well, I mean, you do kind of...
Don't answer that.
For most people, if you are buying something in the game, you do have to work for that just in your regular ass life.
That's true.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's a different kind of grinding.
I do love that people can just buy their WoW subscription with in-game gold now, and that's just fine.
Hey, I mean, you got to know.
That's wild to me.
Wait, you could do that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How much? What's the rate?
The current going rate for 30 days of game time is about 400,000 gold.
And is that hard to get? Is that a lot of?
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's also not. If you're gaming, if you're the type of person who the auction house is what you play in WoW, then that's nothing. That's a drop in the hat. That's 2 weeks of time.
Pays for itself, Jerry.
It does pay for itself.
Or if you've been playing for 30 years and you've got a store of gold held up, I mean, that it just pays for itself now.
Maybe, but there's plenty of gold sinks in the game, not to go off on a tangent, but like if you want that $2 million gold Brontosaurus that lets you ride around Stormwind with a giant dinosaur, then that gold's gone pretty quick.
Nicole, have you ever fallen really, really deep in a video game lore hole?
Gosh, I mean, yeah, I guess the game I would say, is probably the Halo franchise.
Hell yeah.
The Halo franchise has been in the past like the franchise that I was like reading the books and, playing like for a very long time in my life. That was the only game that I played. Like, so probably like, 2000 in the early 2000s to, I don't know.
Who's your favorite member of Blue Team?
Gosh, I don't know. I'm so far out now.
Don't put her on the spot like that.
Yeah, that's not canon, Ash. That's its own separate fandom that just happens to be told through the medium of Halo.
That's not what no, there is a in-universe Blue Team. I am not making a red versus blue joke.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
He's learning all sorts of things.
Yeah. This is why I do this show.
Also
folks.
very into Halo lore.
Yeah. I dropped off shortly after Halo 3, I guess. They told me they were finishing the fight, and goddamn it, I believed them.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah. No, I'm perfectly happy with that. They rolled out Halo 4 and all these sequels, and like, I finished the fight. You told me to do it, and I did it. I'm done. I have clocked out.
No, see, in Halo 4 is when you find out what the red and blue Halo guys taste like.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That's the unknown piece of the lore. No one pays attention to. Yeah.
Do the red Halo guys taste like the red orcs, or are they different kinds of red?
They taste like Red Hots.
Yeah.
Depends on what they've been eating.
I suppose. What do Spartans eat? Or are they like fed some kind of slurry through their mech suit or whatever?
There was a long-standing meme throughout the community where
no, don't go there. Ash, I know what you're going to say. We're going to take a quick slurry break, and we'll be right back with more of the Insert Credit program.
Forgot to bring out my Steve Bannon used to run a Chinese WoW gold farm lore.
Oh, that's right, he did before founding Breitbart.
Wow.
Ships passing in the night.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I mean, you've been playing the game since 2004. Maybe you interacted with Steve Bannon at some point.
God, I hope so.
Play Path of Exile. There's a good chance you might have run into Elon Musk.
Was he a green orc or a red orc?
Oh, well, probably him. It was a gray one.
Yeah.
Elon doesn't play his own games.
God, no.
He has people
time
for that.
Right.
He doesn't use a computer. You
right. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't use a computer.
Famously.
Yeah. Welcome back to Insert Credit. It's time to go to the question hole. This is the part of every episode where I take a question submitted to us through one of our patrons at patreon.com/insertcredit, where you listening, yes, you, can get access to the form that lets you submit these questions, monthly bonus episodes, and other interesting surprises. For instance, this month we have a special offer where if you are subscribing on the $10 a month or more level, Ash Parrish will personally give you a drag name based on your favorite video game franchise. And we're going to run through them right now. Are you ready?
No,
for
we're
this,
not,
Ash?
because I completely forgot. And I knew this would happen. I'm like, you're going to forget, aren't you? And I'm like, I'm not going to forget. I forgot.
Well, we're going to have to record it afterwards because this show comes out on June 30th, and that's the end of Pride Month, baby. So,
okay, I definitely will do that.
We're going to do some post-show recording after this, but for right now, I have a question from SteveWithAB, who asks, what's the worst job in a video game?
The guy that has to make all the dead bodies poof away.
Oh, that's a guy?
That's a guy. People like to think it's the engine because it can only hold so many assets at the same time. No, it's a guy that comes in and he melts all the dead bodies.
What about the guy who has to like refresh all the spots where you find your coins? Like, that's a really tedious job. We don't want to be that guy. The guy who's putting it back into the environment. Who's there putting the coins out into the world?
I mean, the guy who does that for the FromSoft games, that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
That's job security.
I mean, it's got job security. Yeah. It's just very taxing on the body, you know?
The guy whose job it is to like move your horse from wherever you leave it to wherever you are now.
Oh.
So whenever you whistle, the horse is right there, no matter how long ago it was you whistled for them last.
Oh.
Yeah, that job fucking sucks.
I just assumed the horse did that.
No, that's a guy. And that's very
guy.
taxing. That's a very physically demanding job.
If the point of the horse is to get you from one place to another, why don't you just get on the back of the guy who instantly transports your horse?
He has a sciatica. Lay off him.
So
Jeez.
he can transport a horse, but he can't transport you.
Correct.
He's not strong. He has a truck for this.
He's the horse whisperer.
The heart is willing, but
All
the
right.
flesh is weak.
He's a horse teleporter, but it doesn't work on people.
Well, no, he's not teleporting the horse. He's doing the physical act of riding the horse from point A to point B.
Sometimes he uses a truck.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's a horse valet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Horse valet sounds like a good job, honestly. I
It
kind of
does.
think there's a kind of romance to that.
It's just a time commitment, you know.
Yeah.
You have to always be available. You're always on. You never stop. You always have to be ready.
It's arguably a better job than being the guy who has to ride the horse to fight the ancient evil or whatever.
Yeah, because you get shot at.
Right.
It's fully dependent, though, on what video game universe you are valeting the horse. Because if it's in Metal Gear 5 and somebody has $6 million man punched your horse out,
Yeah.
and the horse, like, then you got to carry an unconscious horse. But who has time for that?
If it's your job, you make time, I guess.
Not on my break.
Right.
Jeez.
I'm trying to think if Red Dead Redemption or if Witcher 3 would be worse. And I can't. Witcher 3 because there's monsters. But like there's bandits in Red Dead Redemption.
I feel like it would be easier to fight off a Ku Klux Klan weirdo than a griffin.
Griffins are cool though, right? Like they leave you alone if you're pure of heart, right? Is that not what they do?
You don't get into the horse valet business unless you've done some shit and your other options are close to you.
It's your last chance, really. And God forbid you get docked if that horse gets eaten.
Oh no.
That's the end. Then you have to go into being the guy who disappears bodies.
I lost another horse this week, Mom. I'm sorry.
What do you think the worst job in Pokemon is?
It's got to be breeder, right?
Oh God!
Unless I think everyone who works as a Pokemon breeder is really into it. I think you only get into that job if you love it.
Who's cleaning the Pokeballs? Like
that's what I was thinking. Like it's a Borrower situation where like it's tiny people have to go in and clean the Pokeball, and it's just covered. Like you got to muck out a stall.
Yeah.
I was very relieved the first time I saw an episode of Pokemon and you see that Pokemon convert into like pure energy before it goes into the ball. I'm like, oh, that's what's going on. It's like storing data. Okay, I feel better about that now.
Yeah.
Well, look, you've got to give a job to the kids who aren't cut out to be Pokemon trainers, and those are the kids you send to the stalls to wipe out the balls.
Yeah.
You know how like in Star Trek, when you teleport, there's like a moment between when you disappear somewhere and reappear somewhere else. I think that's what's going on with a Pokemon when they're in a Pokeball. They're just in that state. They don't like exist as conscious beings in between being out of the Pokeball.
But that's got to do something to the inside of the ball still, right? Like something's going on in there.
Yeah.
It might not be human or, animal waste, but it's some kind of weird residue.
Or the Pokemon transfer system is a take on what happens at the end of Soma.
Okay.
And one Pokemon gets sent back to the ball to Professor Oak. The other one gets sent straight to the meat factory.
I like that was nebulous enough to not spoil the ending of Soma for me.
I also like how that weirdly fits with the mechanics of Pokemon Go, where you're like literally turning Pokemon into candy to upgrade your Pokemon.
Delicious candy.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty bad job too, is turning Pokemon into candy.
Oh, making Pokemon into candy might be the worst video game job. Okay. I think we hit it.
Yeah.
Nobody enjoys that.
Are you stretching it? What is it like? Taffy? What
is it? Hard candy? Is it? I guess it depends
chewy?
On the Pokemon.
Is it like Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's the person that makes the TikTok content from the Pokemon Candy Factory, where they show the hydraulic presses pressing all the Pokemon down.
Yeah.
That's aesthetic.
Set to like some smooth R&B.
r/oddly satisfying Pokemon murder. I hope that answers your question, Steve. What do you think was the hardest video game in history to make?
Oh.
To make?
Yeah.
Star Citizen, apparently, because that bitch ain't out yet.
I'm on the border of impossible there. I think the game has to have come out to qualify for hard.
I'm going to say No Man's Sky, not only because of expectations put upon it at the time, but the fact that they have felt the need to like provide penance to themselves from this day forward up to even now, still making free content for that game. I'm at a point where it feels just like, guys, you can rest now. Like you can be done. You can lay your head down. It's the 7th day.
I mean, but it works for them.
I hope so.
I mean, they're getting ready to make another game, and No Man's Sky is like apparently pretty popular.
Yeah, it's had kind of a Final Fantasy 14ing where people have reassessed it.
I just know that every time there's like a new thing that they're doing, my boss makes me write about it.
Yeah,
because it does good traffic because those people that play that game, they look out for news about it. So
we need a No Man's Sky viewing order.
That takes me back to my Polygon days 2 months ago.
Oh,
the old days,
the olden days.
Yeah,
it's like the writers who have to keep track of War Thunder, waiting for another U.S. intel,
which was
on the
like a couple of days ago, legitimately a couple days ago.
It's a beat. Like I would love that job.
That would be funny.
I know Ash is in some Discord servers.
Yes, I am. I have not been back. I don't know if I could even get back at this point. I don't particularly care about it.
That's fine.
Hard games. I mean, that Duke Nukem took a long time to come out, but I don't know if that was about difficulty. I think that was just studios changing hands.
So do they have to be out?
The game has to be out, yes. The game has to have come out.
I'm thinking like a game with a fuck ton of lore to keep track of. Like, I mean, I'm thinking about World of Warcraft now too. It's like, is that I mean, it's got to be hard to keep track simply on a lore level what's going on at all times for a game that has been running for so long. Maybe it's not like I don't know about the technical side of things, but just on that lore level, and fans are going to notice. Like, if you get something wrong, people are going to know.
Like, the World of Warcraft is big to the point where they have like a guy that they hire or they keep on retainer whose only job is lore, like a historian.
Yeah, like an archive there. Yeah.
They used to have a full archivist lore library. It was cut down in the last couple of years, as most things were, which is sad. But that person's job is like, if I had a dream job for anything, and I don't often say that, it would be that, because they work with the publishing side for the novels. They work with current team to kind of make sure things make sense, which is the worry of that job. Like, oh no, I forgot that Thrall was green and not red, and now everyone's yelling on the forums. What do?
I mean, not to brag, but I am one of the guys who does that for DC Comics. So
there you go.
There's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, so you know that's hard.
Don't ask me who Hawkman is, or we'll be here all day.
That's why you have a flowchart of what underwear Superman has wore for the last 70 years.
Look, I could tell you, man. I could absolutely tell you. The whole thing about Superman's underwear is very complicated. As I'm sure you can imagine. Things are. Yeah. I don't know. Those Rockstar games seem like there's a lot of effort that goes into there that isn't appreciated by most people. But then you get like these videos like, oh, look how your feet leave footprints in the snow or whatever.
They're going to definitely do that for Rockstar.
Yeah. Rockstar's going to commit. I don't know why they do it, but I guess it pays off.
Maybe not to be too topical, but maybe the Mind's Eye game is an impossible game because it promises so much and will never be able to deliver on any of it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was hard to make, though.
I
hope it wasn't hard to make.
It probably was, and
not the way they did it.
Yeah, maybe not. So I'm just thinking of Peter Molyneux, and it's like, you see that mountain, you can go there, and you absolutely cannot do that.
Right.
And so I think of difficult games as these games that, like, you know, their creators, however foolishly, promise that this game can do this thing, and when we know that that's like not possible.
The more generic answer might be trying to balance a live service game of any kind, whether we're talking about Street Fighter or a MOBA or Overwatch. Having just spent some time at an esports site. Mm-hmm. Yeah, balance is a constant thing. And in the case of the fighting game community, I still remember the early days of Street Fighter V when people were mad about an alpha that leaked and arguing about balance changes then and calling for changes. And it's like, guys, this game is not going to be out for a long time. You need to calm down.
I think I have an answer then. I think the hardest video game anyone has ever made is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, specifically on Masahiro Sakurai. Just like bearing that entire weight on his back like Sisyphus.
He does look like he's finally getting rest, but I remember, he's tired. He's very tired.
Those Kirby fans yelling at him.
Yeah.
This next question is about both video game journalism and video game development. What real people in video games do you trust?
Ooh.
I trust Ash Parrish, writer of Freebird.
That's what I was going to say too.
Oh, shut up. No, you weren't. You guys are all liars. I literally cut their feeds immediately.
My point.
Kind of can't trust anybody. Like, I trust my people. So that's my colleagues. That's the Nicoles and the Wills and the Kenneths. And those are the people that I trust. On the developer side, oh man, there's places that I like, okay, I'll be there no matter what. But like in terms of like interpersonally, trust, I don't know. That's a rough one. Like, what do you mean trust?
Like when they say something, you believe it. You can depend on them.
Depend on them for what exactly? Be good people, be a good company, make a good game. I don't know. I'm being very combative about this question. I don't know why.
What is that's a good question. What does trust mean to you?
Integrity, for the most part. When I'm thinking about video game developers as people and not the kind of people who, give me a product to play. I'm not basing this off of they always make quality games. No, but like if I trust them as a company that I would want to do business with, that kind of thing. And that's a very, 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 very small circle because that requires knowing developers on a personal level, which I have friends that I can say that I do and those friends that I trust, but not that's not the same. I don't know. That's a hard question.
Yeah, I think like also like as a journalist, I wouldn't be able to say that I trust a company in a way. It's like there always has to be that level of you always have to be a little skeptical. You always have to do your own research. And so I feel like I can't even apply trust to that in any sort of way. But I think if we're talking about as a journalist who trusts the work of other journalists, there are a bunch that I trust. And I think that a lot of that also is like independent worker-owned media. I trust that very strongly. I trust that work. Is what I'm saying.
When it comes to trusting the word of a creative, I think you need to realign it to be more about, do I have faith and have the ability to give grace to a creator? Because ultimately, it's like Ash said, we don't know them, but maybe we can trust their vision is maybe something more accurate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that might be it. Okay. In that case, I think it's time to go on to our lightning round. We're going to play one of my favorite games here. At the end of the show, we play one of several games that I've designed. This one is one that I call Zelda Maker. You remember this one, Ash? This one's a banger.
I don't.
No?
Oh, yes, I do. Damn it.
This
Explain
is
the
a fun
rules
one.
anyway.
I will explain the rules. Here's what I do. We are going to design a Zelda game right here and now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to randomwordgenerator.com. And whatever word comes up, we are going to design a dungeon around that word, which means we need to come up with a mechanic for the dungeon. We need to like some kind of puzzle or theme. We need to come up with the weapon you get in the dungeon or the like piece of equipment that you add to your inventory. And we need to come up with the boss for that dungeon. And we do that 6 times, and then we'll have a Zelda game before we go on to the final boss. Here we go. Our first dungeon is the Attention Dungeon.
The final boss is an influencer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Weapon should be a mirror.
Yeah, a mirror or like a funky Hylian cell phone with a front-facing camera.
So like a tablet.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Pad. Yeah.
Perfect for the first dungeon. Absolutely. That's going to be essential. The boss is an evil social media influencer. Give me some kind of puzzle for this dungeon.
It's okay. It's those puzzles where you have to like equalize like the levels and everything in order to like unlock it or make water flow or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to do that, but with social media followers. So you have all of your accounts and you have to like figure out how to normalize your follower accounts for each different account.
Yeah, because if they're not normalized, people are going to think it's bots. So you can't have that.
Does Link know how to use Hootsuite?
Exactly.
That's what I need to know.
That's great for a first dungeon. All right. Our next dungeon is the Opera Dungeon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this game rules.
Obviously, a theater kid needs to be the boss,
Yeah.
I feel like. And not one that's achieved any success, but somebody that could have been to greatness and then they faltered in college. And it's like, I could have been somebody. I could have been in the local production of Hadestown.
The puzzle mechanic is like a Guitar Hero like, where you have to pick out the notes that are coming towards you in the right time, and then it slowly does legally distinct Rent songs.
Like my favorite one,
Yeah.
Rent.
Yes.
Rent.
My favorite opera, Rent.
Yes.
What's the item you get in this dungeon?
Glasses, little tiny glasses.
Little tiny opera glasses. Yeah.
It's like spooky themed, and you need to use the glasses to like see ghosts or phantoms, if you will.
Sure, like the magnifying glass in Ocarina of Time. That totally works.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Our third dungeon is the Garlic Dungeon.
The final boss is an Italian.
Maybe Wario.
Yeah, it's just Wario.
I'm so glad Frank's not here.
Oh yeah, it's established insert credit lore that just talking in Italian makes Ash laugh uncontrollably.
Frank's not here. This is fun.
Good to know.
I think
Right now she is just thinking about the idea of Frank saying something with an Italian accent.
I know
And that is
for her
driving
birthday now.
her into hysterics.
an Italian? Is that what you're getting her for her birthday? Her own personal Italian?
Oh God, my Greek
Just
husband.
recording.
Oh,
gotcha,
upset by
gotcha.
that. Okay, now that that's done.
Breathe.
All right, we need a puzzle for the Garlic Dungeon.
I think the puzzle is getting garlic smell off your fingers.
Oh, you just need one of those stainless steel bars of soap.
Well, that's the item.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Easy.
Yeah. Steel wool.
Well, no, there's
Yeah, that's
stainless steel bars of soap at like Bed Bath & Beyond that you're supposed to use to get the smell off your hands.
Okay.
It should be a sheep that actually has steel wool.
Oh, this is very appropriate. Our 4th dungeon is the soap dungeon.
Oh, they're listening.
Sydney Sweeney is the final boss, and
I don't get that reference.
You didn't hear about the bathwater.
Oh,
she put
Jesus.
her.
Oh, yeah.
She
No,
put
I
her
did.
bathwater in some soap, and now she must be punished for her crimes.
I mean, punished for her grimes, more like.
Soap dungeon.
Yeah, this is stolen valor from gamer girls. I have a problem with this.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Belle Delphine is the final
Yeah.
boss. Like you're cashing in on my gimmick.
Yeah. I wonder what if she's called out Sydney Sweeney. I'm not going to look this up.
I hope they've talked.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like
That's the beef I need in 2025.
No, Belle Delphine just gave her tips. Like, listen, Queen, all you have to do
Right.
is like, jar some water, and they'll go fucking nuts over it.
She got the bathwater off Temu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we need a puzzle for the soap dungeon. It's probably some kind of like slippery floor mechanic.
I was gonna say like a platforming dungeon where you like bounce off bubbles. I'm thinking of Animal Well right now.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Bubble Bobble.
Well, this is a
As
different
we
kind
all
of
are.
bubble. Oh, that would be fun too. Putting games in other games is like the thing that we do now. So like a
Mhm.
bubble bobble section with soap bubbles would be fun.
I wouldn't hate
Time
that.
to bring it back.
What's
time.
What's the item in the soap dungeon?
Ooh.
A
A drain weasel.
And what does that help with?
Oh, this is the thing you stick down into like your tub drain and
Yeah.
you spin it and it pulls out like the hair clogs.
Oh.
No.
Because all the enemies in this dungeon are hair based.
You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
that totally tracks. Okay.
I like this.
Yeah.
I didn't like the first Zelda that we made, but I like this one.
I like
Yeah,
that
okay.
one. The first Zelda we made required you to like get a forklift operating license.
I like this one better.
That was a good game.
That's 40 hours I don't have.
Okay. Our 5th dungeon is the Crouch dungeon.
Crouch.
You're about to say the kraut dungeon, like the sauerkraut dungeon?
No, this is a dungeon themed around crouching.
Cardboard box is the item.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The final boss is your hip pain. Like, Jesus Christ.
Okay. What kind of gimmick? Crouching, obviously.
I guess it's a stealth dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ceiling is too short, so you always have to be crouching just
Right.
a little bit.
And like there's kind of like a fire effect on the ceiling so that if you like
Okay.
accidentally get out of crouching, you start immediately taking damage.
So the floor isn't lava, but the ceiling
The
is.
ceiling is
Yeah,
lava.
yeah.
The low ceiling is lava.
Finally, horrifying new metrics.
Yeah. We're really breaking ground here. And who's the boss of the Crouch dungeon?
Someone who is fully standing up. So you can't you have to cut them down. They're like made of wood, so you have to like cut out their ankles, and then like as it slowly comes, like you're chopping down something until you can finally get to their face, then you stab them in the face. That's the boss gimmick. You're welcome. That was really good.
Okay. Our final dungeon is the cottage dungeon.
Your boss is a gaggle of like 3 to 5 girls all dressed in like those Little House on the Prairie dresses.
Yeah.
That are afflicted with rickets because they don't do any kind of citrus because they have to grow all their own
Sounds
food.
hard.
Yeah.
They're tied together like the Hydra boss from the first Zelda dungeon that has the 3 heads.
Oh,
except
yeah.
It's just 3 trad core
Yeah.
or a trad wife, like all flailing.
Yeah, this one ties into the social media. Yeah.
Oh, a triple-headed trad wife is kind of a
triple-headed
Yeah.
trad wife.
How did you know the name of my ska band?
That's a great name.
Yeah. They open for stainless steel soap bars. What's our puzzle mechanic in the cottage core dungeon?
Esper, you have to make triple-headed trad wife the episode title.
Oh, I knew it as soon as I said it.
Wait, so we're doing a gimmick.
Yeah, we
right?
need the gimmick for the cottage core dungeon.
Is this like a cooking element? Because, I'm thinking Nara Smith, trad wife with the...
Yeah. So you have to make
Is it a
bubblegum from
cooking game?
scratch.
Yeah, you have to make bubblegum from scratch, yeah.
Which means you have to
I watched her
farm
eat.
xanthan gum.
I watched her eat a bowl of cereal this week. I've lost all faith in her.
Oh,
I saw her at Starbucks in the airport.
Oh wow.
really?
What do we get out of this dungeon? What's our item?
Something beige
That doesn't narrow it down.
made out of shearling. That's like
I mean,
it's
yeah.
ridiculously expensive, even though it looks like it shouldn't be.
It's a beige Gwyneth Paltrow candle that smells like raw milk, obviously.
Ugh.
A raw milk candle.
Oh,
Okay.
that's terrible. Oh, that's awful.
Well, now's the part where I tell you that you've all hung yourselves, because we are going to use the items from all of these dungeons to traverse and defeat the final boss of this game, final lair. So how do we incorporate the tablet, the opera glasses, the soap bars, the drain weasel, the cardboard box, and the raw milk candle?
Okay, so the tablet, because this was from the influencer boss, was you use it to like sick your followers on people, and it gives them like a debuff that makes them take more damage. So that's how you debuff the boss.
All right, that's one. That's good.
And the cottage core trad wife is also takes extra damage from that because social media stuff like. There's some kind of
Mega Man.
Yeah.
There's a boss rush element involved here. That happens in a Zelda sometimes. There was a boss rush in Wind Waker.
The opera glasses you can use to see the boss's weak point.
Sure. I feel like the soap bars and the drain weasel should be related somehow.
I think there's a horse back fighting section, and you have to use drain weasel to take out the horse.
This is where your horse valet comes back into the picture.
Yeah.
We're giving him work.
Yeah.
In this economy.
Part of the final boss, like he's got like a clogged drain, and you need to like drain the water out of him. But to do that, you have to unclog his little drain port. So that's what the drain weasel is from.
That's where he keeps the Triforce is down in the drain.
And the drain port is the boss's belly button. You just wanted to make that clear.
With a big X.
It's like a cat's butt in an anime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's everything but the box and the candle.
Okay. Wait, there's a candle?
Yeah, the candle that smells like raw milk.
Oh.
Obviously.
Also, you burn it and it's like a debuff.
Okay.
As I say, maybe Ganon has a weak constitution.
Yeah.
And if anything isn't pasteurized, he just can't handle it.
He
or he's lactose intolerant.
The Listeria debuff.
I think that's Ganon. Yeah. Ganon is lactose intolerant. I've never seen him drink milk.
Okay, what's the last one?
The box.
Box.
It's a tripping hazard.
I like that.
That's about it. All right, we've made a Zelda. It's easy. I don't know why it takes so long to make one of these games.
I hope Nintendo's listening.
I know they are. I know for a fact they are. Does anyone have anything they would like to recommend or plug at this juncture as we reach the end of our program?
Wait, I do.
Yeah.
Reese's Take 5 is the best candy ever invented.
Oh, those are pretty good.
Okay.
I like the pretzel element.
Tell me about that.
Pretzels, caramel, peanut butter, peanuts, and chocolate.
Okay,
yeah, they're crunchy, right?
Doing too much. That's not a Reese's.
No.
You would think so.
No,
you would think so.
I come for the peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's highly peanut butter flavored. Yeah. It's so good, Ash. I would not lie to you. You said you trusted me, okay?
Yeah. Take fives are good.
I would not make a statement like that without
your integrity.
With my integrity
on the line.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some now.
Make sure it's not melty. A melty Take 5 is a nightmare. But if you get a nice solid one, that's a good bite.
Yeah, and see, I got these little guys, so I'm eating like 5 a day.
Okay,
just freeze them.
Ooh, it'll okay.
Yeah, frozen candy is always good.
I have a Substack newsletter. I know it's on Substack and that's bad, but I'm exploring other options. But it's called Save Spot.
I have a recommendation. You should play the game Date Everything. It's a funny little dating sim. I guess Ray Chase. I'm so sorry.
Very different.
Extremely.
I wasn't sure where you were going.
Me too.
Ray Chase, who voiced Noctis in Final Fantasy 15, got together with the guy who did Tuxedo Mask in the Viz dub of Sailor Moon and made a video game studio and decided to call all of their friends to voice all of your household objects in a house where you can fuck your toilet. It sounds really silly, and it is really silly, but it's also really smart. Like, within the first couple of seconds of booting up the game, we get a Microsoft is funding the IDF reference, and I'm like, we are about our business here. It's very funny. And it's like playing Who's That Voice? So somebody will pop up and is like, I know that. That's the guy from Baldur's Gate. I know that guy, and I know that girl. And the main girl is Felicia Day. And I don't know when the last time I heard her in a video game was, so it's a lot of fun. And you should play it.
Now, that toilet you fuck is where you get the drain weasel for the
Of course, yeah.
Right?
I decided, because I hate cleaning my bathroom, that you can have a friendship, romance, or they can hate you. And I decided to make the toilet hate me. So he does. The toilet hates me.
I've used that toilet. I could understand why. Yeah.
I felt like my brain was melting for a second, and I went to verify. Yes, in fact, the candy bar was originally just called Take 5. They added the Reese's to it in 2019. But for the first 15 years, it was just a Take 5. So that's why it's too busy for a Reese's. It's not a Reese's. It's its own thing.
I'm glad we keep improving candy in this day and age.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's cultural appropriation because the only thing that should be named Take 5 is the song by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. Thank you very much.
I like a candy bar that reminds me to listen to that song, though.
My World of Warcraft lore podcast, Essence of Azeroth, is coming up on its 5th year somehow. Wow. I don't understand how that happened. What started initially as me wanting to create something along This American Life meets Lo-Fi and Murlocs, I am still somehow doing. I bring on special guests such as the lovely Ash Parrish to do voices like Sargeras, and look at World of Warcraft in a critical and analytical way instead of just reading a wiki out loud to people. And you can find that either by looking up Essence of Azeroth on Apple Podcast or Spotify, or just look it up on Google and I'll be there. Okay, my recommendation is that in 10 days, my favorite anime comes back, My Dress Up Darling Season 2 on Crunchyroll. And it is my favorite anime disguised as hentai that is actually a very sweet rom-com with a lot of heart and emotion that I have now inflicted upon no less than 3 Episcopal priests.
How do they like it?
I can understand the context for that, given some background information I have about you from Ash. Yeah, I guess you run deep with Episcopal priests.
Now, I did make those same Episcopal priests also complete Honey Pop at one point.
Oh,
so,
no.
You know, we like to keep them educated.
What's the most Christian anime?
Saint Young Men?
Tales, right?
You went literal. I went figurative.
Yeah.
VeggieTales Shippuden.
No.
Once you get past the Sasuke arc, it's fine.
It's your second Sasuke arc reference this episode. I'm going to have to dock you some points.
He's really big into Naruto.
I love Sasuke.
Yeah, but I love Sasuke too, but I don't love reusing jokes. So, Nicole, you're a winner this week. Congratulations.
Whoa!
Your prize is that you have to write a question for next week's episode. We'll talk off air.
Okay.
I think that's recommendations for everybody. I've got some myself, though. Here are my recommendations. I would like to recommend that if you enjoyed this show, that you help keep us running with your patronage at patreon.com/insertcredit. If you'd like to sponsor our show with an advertisement or personal message, or submit your own horrible buzzer, you can email me at show@insertcredit.com. You can also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com or find us on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. Subscribe to The Verge and keep your eyes on the horizons for our illustrious guests who will have their names emblazoned across the stars in moments in our near future. This episode is edited by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Ash Parrish.
I'm Nicole Carpenter. Sorry.
I'm not Nicole Carpenter. I'm Will Harrison.
And I'm also not Nicole Carpenter. Hey, if you're still listening to this, the last day of Pride Month, which means we're getting this right under the wire. We promised you customized drag names for all of our $10 a month subscribers. We got some submissions on patreon.com/insertcredit. All of these come courtesy of the twisted mind of Ashley Parrish. Our first request comes from Alexander Davies, who wants some Guilty Gear names.
Guilty Gear is kind of like, I don't know, that's hard to do because that entire roster is already queer enough.
Yeah.
But so you're gonna get the bottom of the barrel with whole bad guy. That's your Guilty Gear. What's next, Jaffe?
We got Shovel Knight from Zach Deigel.
Okay, Shovel Knight. So you've got Drill Her Knight.
Yeah.
And you've got Gatey's Knight. Like Ladies' Night, but Gatey's Knight. There you go.
It's a couple of steps away from Shovel Knight, but I'll take it. Darius puts in a request for Fantasy Star.
Fantasy Star. Okay, this one is really hard. I don't know any of these characters. I don't know anything about this game. I don't know if the character I picked is someone who is not involved, is a NPC or whatever. You're going to get it anyway.
You're a professional video game expert. Show some conviction.
Rude. I'm convicted every day. It's just, the strength of my convictions is a little weak sometimes. For Phantasy Star, you get Amy Stage. Because she's a campy girl. She's a campy queen.
I'll take that one.
Okay.
Jordan Thornton Quest wants Deltarune.
Deltarune, Asgore.
Asgore's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with Asgore. Eric S. Puts in a request for insert credit favorite Monkey Island.
Okay, we got a couple for Monkey Island.
We got a couple on Monkey Island.
All of them are pretty good. So we've got Gay Brush Freakwood.
Okay.
And Gay Brush Deep Throat.
Okay.
And then this one is courtesy of Esper because no one on this panel is cool enough to have come up with this. It has to be her. Girl Brush Throatwood. It's just pretty fucking funny.
Girl Bush Throat.
Girl Bush Throatwood. Girl Bush
makes
Throatwood.
it better.
Yeah.
Makes it elevated.
Palo tried to throw us with a request for Tetris.
Oh, we got a couple for Tetris. I mean, first things first, you got to go straight up D Block.
Okay.
Duh. And then we've
one.
got L Block, but ELLE. So she's
I like it.
I like that one too.
Fancy. And last from Josh McGuire, Knights of the Old Republic.
I cannot take credit for this one either because this one is all Esper because it is too freaking cool. Girth O'Nasty.
Girth O'Nasty! Oh, yeah. Girth O'Nasty has the walk of the night for sure.
Take a bow, Esper. Holy shit.
Yeah, 10s across the board for Girth O'Nasty. Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride.
Which is funny because the voice actor I know for Karth is the same voice actor for Caden from Mass Effect. And there's just nothing about that voice that suggests a Girth O'Nasty.
Fun fact, he also plays Jiminy Cricket in Once Upon a Time.
I hate that. I don't like knowing that.
That's Girth O'Nasty for you.